The call came in just after midnight. Structure fire, residential, 45 Ridgewood Lane. Firefighter Alex Carter snapped awake in the station, rubbing the exhaustion from his eyes. Ridgewood Lane, he knew the area well, a quiet suburban neighborhood with identical houses and perfectly trimmed lawns. Fires didn't happen there often. The truck rumbled through the empty streets, the orange glow of flames flickering against the night sky in the distance. Alex sat in silence, staring at the fire licking the upper floor of the two-story home as they approached. He jumped out as soon as they arrived, the heat pressing against him like an invisible weight. The family stood huddled on the lawn, a man, a woman, and their young daughter, all of them staring wide-eyed at the blaze. Alex approached the father. "Anyone inside?" The man shook his head frantically. "No, but it's his room," he said, his voice trembling. "It's always his room." Alex frowned. "Whose room?" The man swallowed hard. "Our son, Daniel. He passed last year." Alex exchanged a glance with his captain. Fires starting in the same place. Strange, but not unheard of. Still, something in the father's eyes unsettled him. "We still hear him sometimes," the man whispered. Before Alex could ask what he meant, the captain barked orders. "Let's move." They hit the blaze hard, water blasting from the hose, drenching the front of the house. The flames obeyed, everywhere except for one spot. Daniel's bedroom. The fire on the second floor wouldn't budge, roaring higher despite their efforts. Alex could see the room clearly now. The flames seemed contained, burning as if confined by invisible walls. "Carter, Jake, get inside!" Alex and his partner Jake rushed in, pushing through thick smoke and rising heat. Inside, the house was already a wreck. Walls blackened, furniture charred, but the fire strangely avoided the lower floor. The bedroom door upstairs stood ajar, flickering light spilling out. "We gotta breach it," Jake shouted. The moment Alex stepped closer, something whispered through the smoke. "Don't put it out." He froze. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice cracking. Jake frowned. "Hear what?" Alex shook it off. "Nothing, let's go." They kicked the door open, and they saw him. A boy, standing in the middle of the inferno, perfectly still. His head tilted slightly, eyes staring through the flames. His face twisted in grief, his mouth moving silently. Jake swore loudly and stumbled back. "What the hell is that?" Alex took a cautious step forward, but the moment his boot crossed the threshold, the flames surged forward like a living thing, forcing them back. The boy was gone. Outside, Alex ripped off his mask, breathing heavily. "What did you see up there?" the captain demanded. Jake's face was pale. I don't know. I thought I saw..." He trailed off, shaking his head. "No, it was just the smoke messing with us." Alex wasn't so sure. He turned to the family. "Your son, what happened?" The mother wiped her tears. He died in his sleep. A year ago, tonight." Alex's stomach twisted. "The fire started the same night," the father added. "We thought it was an accident, but it happens every year. Same room, same time." "Has anyone been in that room since?" The mother shook her head. "We left it just as he had it." A chill ran through Alex. Determined to get answers, Alex climbed back upstairs alone. The heat was unbearable, but he could still make out the details of the room. Posters peeling off the scorched walls, toys half melted, and in the center of it all, a small bed, untouched. The fire crackled around it, but the bed remained pristine. As he approached, his radio crackled to life. "Don't put it out, Dad!" Alex staggered back, eyes wide. He hadn't been called Dad in years, not since his own son had died in a drowning accident. His chest tightened, old wounds ripping open. "Daniel," he whispered. The flames shifted, and for the briefest moment, he saw him again, standing by the bed, watching. Then, just like before, he was gone. The fire kept fighting them, and the exhaustion was taking its toll. They regrouped outside, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the fire wasn't just fire. Jake sat beside him, rubbing at his arm. "Something grabbed me in there, man," he muttered. Alex glanced down and felt his blood run cold. There was a burned handprint on Jake's forearm, a child's handprint. In a final attempt to end it, the crew launched a last-ditch effort to douse the flames. Alex led the charge, pushing into the room once more. The fire raged, but he didn't run. Instead, he knelt beside the untouched bed and whispered, "It's okay, Daniel. You can go now." The flames hesitated. The voice whispered one last time, "I just wanted to stay." Then, as suddenly as it had started, the fire died. The house groaned, smoke curling toward the ceiling, and when it finally cleared, the room was intact. The bed still stood in the center, but something was different. On the pillow sat a small, charred teddy bear, untouched by the flames. Alex picked it up gently, his hands shaking. In the days that followed, the house was condemned, and the family moved on, grateful to finally have closure. Alex, though, couldn't forget. Sitting alone in his truck one night, he pulled out an old photo from his wallet, his son, smiling up at him from a summer day long gone. And then he noticed the soot smeared on his sleeve. Words. "Thank you for letting me stay." Alex stared out into the darkness, feeling a lump in his throat. Some fires, he realized, weren't meant to be put out. Some things, some people, never truly left. And sometimes they just needed someone to understand.